This is What's Wild in New Hampshire by a wildlife biologist, Eric Orff. Well, I'm going to talk about fiddleheading one more time, but this time I'm going to talk about the Fellon fiddleheading caper that I was involved with. Yes, I was. So right down this road, a 10-minute walk or more, was the one of my favorite fiddlehead patches, ostrich patches. Down that way, 10 or 15-minute walk. And one day when I was working up this way at Fish and Game, on my lunch break, I decided to go check out the patch to see how it was going. Brought my 5-gallon bucket along. So I arrived and walked down this very road, some 10 or 15 minutes away, see what I could get down there and pick some and get back in time for my lunch hour or so. Down I went. When I was down there, I could hear an airplane circling overhead, which seemed odd, but anyways, it was quite loud. So I picked, I bet you it was a half a bucket. So 2 gallons, 2.5 gallons of fiddleheads I was able to pick in the half hour I figured I could spend down there before I walked back to my car. It was a Ford Pinto, a Pinto wagon. So I'm coming along this very road right here, and I could see my car parked up there at the road, and it was thicker brush here then. It wasn't quite this open, so that was 37 years ago, May of 1985, I think it was, 85 or 86, right in there. So about 37 years ago. There was more brush here then. Wasn't quite this open. And I could see my car, and all of a sudden, out of the bushes came state troopers state troopers with dogs and shotguns, and they came running at me, rushing at me, were clearly going to throw me to the ground. As they got within arm's reach, one of them noticed my hat. That day I had my New Hampshire Fish and Game hat on, and he stopped abruptly within arm's reach, ready to tackle me and handcuff me and throw me in prison because I was I was misidentified as either an escaped felon or a warranted felon, a felon that they had an arrest warrant out for. So a local police officer, as I was driving to park or nearly parked, misidentified me as an escaped felon. Yes, I was that day. I was an escaped felon picking fiddleheads. So the state police SWAT team was called out to catch this fiddleheading felon. Well, nevertheless, they walked me out to my car out there, and I explained, no, I'm not a felon. I, in fact, worked as a prison guard here in New Hampshire. I tell people I had to go to prison to get my job at Fish and Game, which I did. Anyways, so I get out there to my car, and I could still hear the plane. I said, hey, is that Jim Volner up there in the plane? They said, yes, it is. I said, well, let me talk to him. He said, no, you can't talk to him. But anyways, they were satisfied after a couple of minutes that I wasn't the misidentified escaped felon that they had been led to believe. So I get in my car to try to start it up, and it didn't start. Well, the young police officer, I think he was anxious to make sure I didn't get away, because as he gets out of his cruiser to walk over to me, he got in his hand what looked like an octopus. It was the wires to my car, to the spark plug. So normally, if you want to disable a vehicle, you pull one wire, the wire that goes to the coil and to the into the engine. Well, he had grabbed all the spark plug wires. Luckily, I had a 4-cylinder Pinto, but it took me quite a while because from the distributor cap, there are 4 wires going in all different directions, and you got to figure that out and get the car running. Well, it took me a while, so I did get back to the office, but I was a bit late. And didn't they all get hooting and hollering when I told them what just happened to me, that the state police SWAT team was called out to capture this fiddle-heading felon. Yes, they did. So you never can tell what adventure you're going to have if you're out fiddleheading. Just be careful that you're not an escaped felon fiddleheading, as I was that day. The end of the story. This is wildlife biologist Eric Orff still chuckling about it some 37 years later. Yes, the Fiddlehead Fellon.